Unlike the previous two speakers, I'm going to keep this quite British, and I'm not going to be prowling the stage. I'll be behind the podium where I'm safe, hopefully from the questions on fares. So yes, my name is John. I head up the design team for Transport for London. We're quite a large team. There's about 25 of us, and we also commission a lot of design as well. So Transport for London, I mean, who are they? Lots of people know the Underground, they know the bus, they know their own mode of transport in London. Well, we were formed in 2000, and we're under control of the Mayor's Office. We're here to keep London working, growing, and to make life in the capital better. We have 14 operational modes, and as you see, 2 of those on the right-hand side are sponsored. So we have Emirates Airline, and we have Santander Cycles. Now, sometimes creating design solutions for our sponsored modes can cause a bit of a conflict, but we never compromise on design solution. We always make sure that we still put the customers really at the heart of the experience. As you'll see, we use colour to delineate our modal services. So as well as having the name for the roundel, we also use colour as a way of wayfinding. We like to think our wayfinding and through our mapping products are one of the best in the world. So we try and extend that into our modal identities. 2 years ago, we updated our branding to include the tagline, "Every Journey Matters," because it's something that we really feel as an organisation. It's something that's really important that we reinforce to our customers, that no matter where you're travelling from, no matter which mode you're using, every journey does really matter to us, and we try and influence design to make that journey as comfortable as possible, to make you feel as if we really do care about you. We can't control things such as signal failures, we can't really control the overcrowding sometimes in peak hours on the train, but we can do a lot to make your journey through the network as pain-free as possible and as enjoyable as possible. So, on to the famous infographics slide, because we all like infographics. As you will see, we carry a lot of people. London Underground carries 1.26 billion in 2013/14. It's only going up that number. But what a lot of people don't realise is the bus network actually carried more than double and is growing faster than the Underground. You'll see from our other modal statistics, cycling, 205 million, and through the investments we're making in cycle superhighways and other cycling initiatives, we're trying to encourage modal shift and make it easier and safer for cyclists to use London. We go all the way down to Dial-A-Ride, which is a very important service to our customers. Brings some of our customers who can't use normal ways of transport, enables their life. And again, we try and make that as enjoyable as possible for the customers. Now, quite importantly, London is growing, and it's growing very quickly. As you can see, 9 residents move to London every hour, which is a car load every 26 minutes, equates to 2 tube trains a week. Population today is just over 8.5 million. In 2030, it will be 10 million. So design is coming under a lot of pressure to make sure that we deliver a service where sometimes design can be seen as not as important as making the functionality of the service work. For example, trains, buses, we need to clean them quite quickly. So you could say that we're under a bit of pressure to make sure we don't use maquette, for example, which is a really important thing for our design heritage. We use fabric on our seats. New York Metro, for example, uses stainless steel. Other cities use plastic, so essentially they can just jet wash them out at the end of the night. We like to show that our vehicles are quite unique to London, that you get a sense of Londonness when they're in them. So, who's my team? So in my role, I'm responsible for the day-to-day operation of all of the design functions, whether it be corporate identity, graphic design, branding, print, distribution, product design, and video and photography. Video and photography being, particularly video being a very big emerging area for Adobe, and the team uses all of the Creative Cloud products. I remember the days when we used to use Quark, nothing wrong with Quark, of course, but I always, I resisted the change to Adobe, I've got to be honest. As soon as Creative Suite and Creative Cloud came around, I actually realised how seamless it was, particularly when you work in Illustrator or Photoshop, then bringing strings straight into layout, which is particularly important for a lot of the fast turnaround stuff that we have to do, whether it be the tube map, whether it be a disruptions post, or whether it be some core customer information. So my role is primarily to engage and coordinate with the business to ensure a consistency of approach. We have 25,000 employees. We have multiple projects, Crossrail being one, spending over £15 billion. It's very difficult to corral and make sure that a consistent design approach is applied across all of our touch points. We do this through a lot of very, rigorous corporate standards, and also through some design governance processes to ensure that the experience our customers get on the underground is the same as they'll get on Crossrail, Dial-A-Ride, Overground or Rivers. A singular design vision is applied where we can, but we do realise that we do need to flex sometimes. But we do like to feel that customers feel familiar in any of our environments, any of their journeys. They will feel that same sense of, this is what I'd see in the overground, this is what I'd see in the underground. The signage gives me reassurance, I know where I'm going. The branding makes me feel that we're in a trusted brand, for example. We do have a dichotomy of protecting a 102-year-old logo, which is the underground roundel from which all our brands are based, and creating new versions for commercial use. As you can imagine, we're under greater commercial pressure to ensure that we're not increasing fares year on and year out. So we try and reduce the fares increase by doing more commercial partnerships, which means that we've, on one hand, we're protecting the logo, which is so well known. On the other hand, we have to make sure that we're open enough to allow it to expand and suit the commercial world. So this slide sort of sums a lot of our design ethos up for me. We strive to deliver beauty and good design in all things. Now this is a escalator portal at Southwark Station. And I think you can see that the beauty of it is actually quite clear, whether it be the symmetry, whether it be the lighting, whether it even be the materiality. Now we could have taken the option to do something which is quite plain, quite boring, and it would still form that function of allowing people to transfer down to the lower levels. But instead of using, by using light and by using colour, we're actually trying to draw customers down. We're given an environment that actually feels quite special. Now, we'd like to deliver this across the entire network, but unfortunately, 270 underground stations going through a constant state of refurbishment, as well as the overground, as well as the bus network. This is what we aspire to. Unfortunately, we can't deliver fully to this, but we try our very best. So the lovely triangle of form, price and function. The reason I put this up is it's very easy for us to forget how important the customer is in all of this. Yes, we have the tensions between the form and the function, particularly the price in today's constrained economic climates. We know we've got a comprehensive spending review announcement tomorrow, which will probably drive some of our budget out of the business. But the good thing is, David, the speaker before me from Coca-Cola, said everything that we do has been designed. So we should be able to influence the design in such an extent that we can get that customer care back into what we're doing. A lot of the things we're looking at, for example, is whole life cost. There's a tendency for a project to deliver something which is based on just a very quick capital project. So maybe they will powder coat some grab rails, for example. We know after 4 or 5 years they'll start chipping and they'll need repainting. We'd rather look at natural finish materials, which will last 40 years, for example. So we get a more reduced whole life cost, but also customers see from those high quality points who actually do care about them quite a lot. We always use this equation, and we know it has to flex, whether it's a simple project or it goes to a complete railway. We are our own customers, we like to say, in the London Underground and across Transport for London. And we're also the first and last voice on design. We know through design it can be a very difficult task when you've got, the client wanting one thing, the budget saying something else. But it's a vital and rewarding one that we do, and as I say, we should always try and put ourselves in the minds of the customers. So try and bring this to life. We've got 2 case studies. The first one being the Pan TfL uniform. For our new uniform project, we commissioned Wayne Hemingway and his team. We felt Wayne and his team were a perfect fit for this project, not just because of the fashion link, of course, with Red or Dead, but also Wayne and his team work on very large social responsible projects. For example, they do housing up in the north of England, and Wayne, I'm sure lots of people have seen Wayne speak, is very, very passionate about his responsibility through design. But enough of me, we've got a short video from Wayne through the uniform project just to illustrate his philosophy.
This way.
Right, well, I'm Wayne Hemingway, I'm a designer. So for us, design is not black is the new brown, darling. Design is something a lot deeper than that. Design is about improving things that matter in life. And then after that, it's about listening, really.
It's a practical piece of clothing, it's easy to grab hold of.
Things don't fit, shirts are too baggy, shirts are too small. I'm one of the guys who's designing your new uniform, and Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Any ideas? Show us what's popular and what's a dog. What just doesn't seem to get picked up. The way that the seams are finished, the lining, the detail that's inside the pockets, everything about it, the labelling. It just says that there's been so much care put into this. It's time to get back to do something that's going to have some longevity and feels like it's been touched by the hand of creativity, really. Who designed that then? Was it you?
Well, navy is the current colour. Have you got in mind a colour?
You'll have to wait for that. Okay.
So there was huge internal consultation on this project. We talked to almost all of the staff, and we set up a special blog. Wayne actually fronted all of these sessions, and he took personal questions, a lot of personal interest in this project. Now, internal or external, you could say, actually, these customers, well, I feel these are my customers, and also, once the staff feel happy, for example, in the uniform wearing, it comes through on their behaviours, which means that we actually get a benefit to our actual customers themselves. Again, there was a dichotomy between the competing needs, between staff wanting to wear uniform, which made them slightly less visible in the environment that they were used to for maybe 50 years, but also something that stood out enough so our customers would identify the roundel. And this is why we paid particular attention to make sure the roundel comes across either on the front, the back, or the side of all garments. But again, with a sense of London feel to it, so we've gone for that dark blue colour, which again is not only synonymous with us as an organisation, but is also quite a London colour. This uniform is going to be rolled out across the entire organisation. It's being rolled out at the moment across London Underground, but all of our staff will be wearing it from the end of 2016. So us as customers, if we see a member of staff wearing the uniform, we know that they've got the same quality service to provide to us as customers. Now onto something a bit more physical, which is a new tube for London. So after maybe 20 or 30 years of seeing rolling stock throughout the UK and through the organisation of London Underground becoming a little bit more function-based than form, we embarked upon an exercise to actually see if we can put the needs of our customers back into the vehicles that we transport them on. It's very easy to say, actually, our customers have to be transported in our vehicles, so we don't really have to do too much, so we could treat them like a transit van. But we actually feel, no, we've got an obligation to make our customers feel that we care about them and actually to provide a vehicle that they want to travel in. So we have a short video that we produced highlighting the train.
Across the Underground, trains, stations and track are being modernised. But with London's population growing rapidly, we need to do even more. In the upcoming decade, we will introduce the new Tube for London, which will mean faster, more frequent and more reliable journeys on the Piccadilly, Central, Bakerloo and Waterloo and City lines. Modern signalling and train control systems will mean the new trains can run faster and more frequently, boosting capacity on the Piccadilly line alone by up to 60%. Our design vision is for a train that both echoes the best of London's transport heritage and utilises the latest modern technology. The 250 spacious and comfortable new trains will have walk-through carriages to increase capacity and will all have double doorways to speed up boarding and alighting. Automatic trains are already in service on several lines, and many metros around the world are now introducing fully automatic trains with centralised monitoring and control to further improve customer service and efficiency. The new trains will provide real-time information, and for the first time on the deep-level tube, trains will be air-cooled, making journeys more comfortable for customers. Platforms will be modified to improve accessibility, and modern platform edge door technology, already introduced on the Jubilee line, will be progressively deployed to further improve safety and reliability. When the new train enters service, it will have an operator on board. But as these trains will serve London for over 40 years, they will be designed and built to be capable of fully automatic operation. The new Tube for London is designed to meet London's needs, making life better for customers and providing a service of which Londoners can be proud.
So I think as the video demonstrates, we're looking at a real step change in our vehicles. Many customers will be familiar, if you're, of course, using the Underground in London, with the S stock, which is the Circle line, Hammersmith and City, the Metropolitan line, and also the Victoria line. They're quite anodyne, they're very functional, don't get me wrong, but if you took the roundel off the outside, for example, if you took the maps out, there could be a train from any other city. There isn't that feeling that they belong to London, and all of London actually feels that the Underground belongs to them. So through some of the touch points you've seen in the video, we're looking at, for example, bringing in some human-sized scale to the interior. Doing a lot of research, we realised customers don't like big, huge windows to sit in front of, for example, big, long ones. It feels as if, they're just on a bench somewhere. We've used that consistent spacing, positioning and size of the windows, for example, and the doors and the seats to create that feeling that you've got your own personal space, which is both reassuring and welcoming. On the seating, we've gone for a proportionality, which is very important to us, to create a seat that looks as if you would want to sit in it. For example, it echoes perhaps a comfortable sofa. That doesn't mean that we're harking back to potentially the 1930s, when we had big upholstered and bolstered seats in our trains. But today people still buy quite generous sofas and quite generous seats because they like the feeling of being comfortable. You'll see the touch points, for example, are naturally finished stainless steel. There's a leather cap, for example, on the armrest in that shot. Now, we could have just powder coated those, but by actually leaving the material raw and actually making sure it's got high quality finish, not only will it never wear out, it will wear in, but the customer will actually see that, and there's a connection with natural finish materials that this is a premium product. Now, it doesn't cost any more. In fact, it actually costs a little bit less and a little bit less weight because we haven't painted it, because we don't need to paint it. Lighting, as well, is a crucial part in creating ambience in a vehicle or a station. Again, going back to the S stock and the Victoria line train, you'll see your very functional lighting. Illuminates every single part of the train, but doesn't it feel like you're in a garage or your kitchen, where really customers might want to feel as if they're sitting in their lounge, for example. They don't want a bright light glaring in their face when they're just trying to relax from a very busy day, or else they're preparing for a busy day to come. I say we want to try and make people feel a little bit more relaxed in our vehicles. Lighting is so often overlooked as the key enabler of ambience, yet it's so easy to influence, because all trains need lights, we just need to do it in a very intelligent way. Careful attention to the proportion of the seating again. Something you would choose to sit in, not have to sit in. And very importantly to us on this project, we worked with Priestman Good, is that we had to sweat the details. We had a lot of tension with engineers, with financiers, of course, to make sure that we're not spending huge amounts of money, where there was always a battle to ensure that the customer's right, and it is a right now with customers to actually feel as if we care about them and in an environment they want to travel in, was championed. As I was saying earlier, it's very easy for us to just say, oh no, actually let's just put, I don't know, yellow grab poles in, for example, because that will very quickly tick the health and safety box on colour contrast. But we know through colour contrast, yellow and white doesn't actually give you the best contrast. It gives you some contrast. Actually, the maroon on the light grey colours gives you even more contrast. So again, sometimes if we slavishly follow some rules, which were set for the right reason, but perhaps a few years ago, we might end up with the same solution. We always try and push, examine and explore all of our rules that we have in place, making sure the vehicle is safe, but making sure we try and tip the scales back to the customer. So in summary, we've got 5 points there. Good design makes life in London better. Now, Transport for London is running an 18-month-long programme which celebrates that, called Transport by Design. This is where we're trying to bring design to the forefront as an enabler of the customer experience in London, as opposed to an engineering solution to get people around. We've got a load of stuff on our website. We've just launched the design icons, for example, so you'll be seeing quite a lot of stuff around the network, either physical or virtual. Our Transport Museum's got a big exhibition, again, just to remind people about all of the design features that people probably don't notice. For example, Oyster is a remarkable mechanism for getting people through the network very quickly. It's an example of invisible design, but without Oyster, everyone's journey through our gate lines would be a lot slower, for example. You know, if you tap in and tap out, you go through almost as quickly as you can walk. If you use a paper ticket or from Network Rail, for example, you find there's a couple of seconds delay. But again, that's another design feature that we put in. Customers probably aren't aware of, which shows customers that we can, again, put them at the heart because they're not delayed on their journeys through our network. London continues to expect the highest quality design solutions. Now, there exists an undeniable link between the quality and environment and customer satisfaction. We've done a load of research and insight on this, and customers really feel that the quality of the environment they travel in directly correlates to how they feel that we view them as customers, which not only keeps our reputation high, but also means there's a better sense of shared ownership, and we create more advocacy for our customers. The world looks to London. It's quite important to say as well. We sneeze and the world catches a cold, be it the tube map, which is emulated worldwide as being an optimum mapping system, and also you see some of our station designs echoed through places such as the Moscow Metro. Never stand still and rest on your laurels. We constantly ask ourselves the question, how can we make this even better? And if by doing that simple thing, you normally will make it better. But again, you have to consciously keep on asking yourselves this constant self-improvement. Rather than just delivering a project, then walking away from it. I think this correlates with the older Adobe philosophy. Constantly tweak it, constantly examine it, constantly go back, see what you can do to make it better. Ultimately, you know, you are your own customers on a lot of the things that you do, you know, and really measure it against, you know, would you buy that? Would you subscribe to this? Would you want to buy this? Sometimes it's very easy to view customers as something which are quite isolated from ourselves, but really we are our own customers. No matter how difficult a project can be, and we know they can get very painful, you have to act with tenacity, and you will more than likely succeed. We know sometimes it's very easy to say that, but we know budgets might be driven down. We've got a client who's got a different view. They want Comic Sans. We'll argue for the death, but Comic Sans is the way they want to take a commission, for example. Well, we know by using fact-based arguments, for example, and trying to point to research, that we can often win the argument. The arguments we tend to lose are the subjective ones. This is why, as an organisation, we are moving towards objective design rationale. Design commissioning is also hard. I mean, it might sound quite easy. We'll just get, I don't know, Wayne Hemingway to do a uniform. We'll get Priestman Good to do a train. But we know that in order to protect our brand, we have to constrain other designers' vision to ensure that our customers do have consistency to a point. So not only do we end up with some quite creative discussions with the designers, we also have the same thing with the projects, with the engineers, with the accountants. So sometimes even commission a project, you're in the middle, you're getting kicked at all sides, and the only thing that you've got to try and remember is that you are the customer in this equation. You have to champion what the customer would want best. They don't really care about the money overly, they don't care about the consistency, they care about the quality of the experience. So again, you can sometimes be the lone voice in the room, but it's a very, very important voice. And thank you for listening to this presentation. And are there any questions? We're going to pass a mic around just so we can record. So if people put their hands up, I'll answer some design questions. Can't do much about fairs questions, but I'll do my best to answer what I can.
How has design been included in the business case, i.e. all these cost much more than being more simpler? There must be a financial justification, i.e. do you expect that footprint will increase because of the nice design, and how to persuade the senior leaders to invest in design and in quality visuals?
Well, I mean, I think as David said from Coca-Cola, and he did steal my line somewhat, everything is designed, everything in this room is designed. We know nothing is not being designed. If we're buying a new train, for example, by influencing the interior design, adds to practice, there's no cost increase, essentially. All the money is spent on the engineering part of it. So if we can intelligently specify what we want in the train, if we can intelligently specify what we want from a uniform, you know, how we want the visuals to work for our stakeholders, then we should. Again, sometimes there becomes a cost implication, but generally it's a zero cost gain, to be honest, because it has to be designed. Again, if we look intelligently at whole life costs as opposed to a project cost, we can sometimes argue that during 20 years of a project, the additional percentage spent up front will actually reap benefits during its life.
I was wondering, you were talking about subjective versus objective design rationale. I was wondering, as a part of that, do you have a way that you now capture your ROI on design solutions, or a technique for that?
Trying to find a hard metric for the value of design has always been something we have struggled with. What we do know it's a key driver of reputation. Customers feel that we care about them, our reputation will go up, our ability to seek reinvestment from national government, for example, is enhanced. We're also looking at a new concept called gain points. So we're looking at how can we increase the experience of a customer. Again, very hard to measure the metric, but we do see correlation between the quality of the environment and the way customers will treat the environment. But it's a good question. I mean, I think we all find it's very difficult to be able to justify an additional spend on design. It's easy to quantify an additional spend on quantity of a product or making it slightly cheaper, but to make the design better can be slightly difficult. Thank you very much.
Thank you.